Hello Xbox Nation, winter is creeping in, and if you're anything like me, now's the perfect time to settle in with some incredible single player games. Xbox Game Pass has an awesome library of games, but today I've handpicked the 30 best single player experiences that you can dive into right now. These are the games you just can't miss this season, whether you're into intense action games, deep storytelling, or something that'll simply blow your mind. My name's Fletcher, this is Xbox Nation, and if you love Xbox content and want to see it every single day, then make sure you subscribe down below. With that out of the way, let's jump into these heart-pounding single-player experiences. Let's start strong with Diablo 4, a game that combines fast-paced action, deep RPG mechanics, and a dark, atmospheric world. This game is just perfect for players who love to get lost in dungeons, whilst gathering loot and upgrading their hero to face even tougher challenges. Honestly, what I really love though about Diablo 4 is the way it merges epic storytelling with endless gameplay possibilities. You'll constantly find new gear and abilities to tweak your playstyle, all whilst exploring this deep and dark world. It's a game that is incredibly hard to put down, especially if you enjoy a moody, gothic atmosphere with tons of replayability. Next up is Psychonauts 2, an absolute gem from Double Fine that combines both platforming with a quirky, heartfelt narrative. You will play as Raz, a young psychic who dives into the minds of others, uncovering their inner demons, quite literally. What I love about this game is just its creativity. Every single level within this game represents a character's subconscious, and the designs are just out of this world. One moment you're in a psychedelic disco, and the next you're navigating a mental hospital. The game's humor and charm make it just an unforgettable experience, and trust me, you'll be laughing and gasping in equal measure. A Plague Tale Requiem delivers a deeply emotional story set during one of the darkest periods of human history, and that's through the Black Death. You follow both siblings, Amicia and Hugo, as they struggle to survive not just the plague, but also the horrors of war and superstition. What really pulls me into the bond between each of these characters, as you feel every single intense moment as they face impossible odds. The mix of stealth here, along with the action and puzzle solving, really keeps you on your toes, while the incredible storytelling will pull at your heartstrings. It's dark, it's gripping, has some incredibly beautiful visuals, and it's absolutely unforgettable. Taking inspiration from the Xbox 360 games of old, and if you're a fan of the Wild West but crave something with a supernatural twist, then Evil West is the game for you. This action-packed game mixes old-school cowboy vibes with brutal vampire hunting. As Jesse Rentier, you'll wield an arsenal of wild weapons to take down some bloodthirsty monsters. This game is just blending genres in a ton of different ways. You've got the gunslinging action of a western combined with the visceral, fast-paced combat you'd expect from a modern action game. It's very gritty, is bloody, and honestly, it's a total blast. If you're looking for something that's more thrilling and different with a more linear experience, then this one is a must-play. Of course, no Xbox list would ever be complete without a Halo game, and today I honestly just wanted to highlight Halo Infinite. While the multiplayer has been heavily revamped since its launch and is now entirely great to play, the single player campaign is truly epic and is one reason to pick up this game. Master Chief's return to fight the Banished in an open world setting really offers players more freedom than ever before. What I really loved about my time with Halo Infinite is that it captures the spirit of the original trilogy whilst also pushing the series forward with some new mechanics. The grappling hook, for instance, changes the way that you approach combat and exploration and makes it so much fun darting across the map. If you're a Halo fan or just looking for a blockbuster sci-fi shooter, then this is one you definitely need to play. Another Xbox classic I had to include on this list is Gears of War Ultimate Edition, and honestly, it's the definitive way to experience the original Gears of War. It's got everything you come to expect, with massive set pieces, intense firefights, and a gritty story about survival in a world ravaged by war. What makes this game so special though is its emphasis on cover-based shooting and the gorgeous narrative that underlies the entire game. The mechanics here feel just as fresh today as when they did when the first game launched, plus this Ultimate Edition also gives it that stunning visual upgrade. Whether you're a long-time fan of this series or just new to it and want to experience that heart-pounding narrative for the very first time, it's hard not to get pulled into the intense atmosphere of this brutal world. If you're in the mood for something challenging but atmospheric, Hollow Knight is a masterpiece of 2D action-adventure. You will play as a tiny knight exploring the vast, mysterious kingdom of Hollow Nest. The game is beautifully hand-drawn and just oozes atmosphere, and there's a reason why so many are waiting for Silksong to arrive next year. What really kept me hooked though through this game is the gameplay. It's tough but incredibly fair, and every single boss fight feels like a monumental achievement. It's sort of a 2D Souls-like, so definitely go into that game expecting this sort of mechanics. Hollow Knight's world though is just filled with tons of secrets, and the more you explore, the more that you're rewarded. It's perfect for gamers who love a challenge and want to lose themselves in a beautifully crafted world. One of the greatest RPG trilogies of all time is on Xbox Game Pass, and Mass Effect Legendary Edition brings Shepard's journey back to life with remastered visuals and some great gameplay tweaks. Honestly, I can't tell you to this day how many hours I've sunk into these games, but what keeps me bringing it back is just the storyline. Your choices really do matter in this game, and the relationships you build with your crew feel incredibly genuine and incredibly rewarding. Whether you're battling against some ancient alien forces or navigating complex political landscapes, the Mass Effect trilogy is just an unforgettable experience from start to finish. If you've never played this game before, now's the perfect time to jump in, and honestly, if you haven't played it, it's one game you need to check out immediately. Lies of P offers a dark and unique take on the classic story of Pinocchio, but this time blends it with a Souls-like formula that fans of challenging action games will really love. The game takes place in a twisted steampunk world filled with deadly automaton enemies. What really stands out to me though here is the atmosphere. There's something eerily beautiful about the entire world, and the combat here is precise but brutal. You'll need to master your timing in this game to succeed, but when you do, it's incredibly rewarding. If you're into tough games with a dark, immersive world, then this one is for you. For something truly innovative this Xbox Series X and S generation, then look no further than Deathloop. You will play as Colt, an assassin trapped in a time loop on an island where you're hunted by other killers. To break this loop, you will have to eliminate 8 targets before the day resets. Honestly, what I really love about this game is how every single loop gives you more information to strategize on your next run. The mix of stealth, action and puzzle solving is perfectly balanced, and the world is vibrant and just full of personality. If you enjoy a game that really makes you think and constantly challenges you to improve on every single run, then you will absolutely love Deathloop. Age of Mythology Retold is a perfect blend of strategy and mythological storytelling, and honestly, it's one of my favourite additions to the Xbox Game Pass library for this year. This remaster of the classic RTS lets you command ancient civilizations, summon gods, and wage war with mythological creatures. What really drew me to this game though is the mix of history and fantasy. You're not just building regular armies, you're actually invoking godly powers and creatures to turn the tide of battle. It really is a nostalgic throwback for fans of strategy games, but the updates just make it feel like an incredibly fresh and new game. Whether you're new to this game or a long-time fan of this series, it's a fantastic experience that will keep you strategizing for many hours. Now, Sifu is a martial arts brawler where every single punch, kick, and dodge matters. The game's hook here? Well, every single time you die, your character ages, but with age comes experience. What I found fascinating about Sifu upon my time with it is just how it forces you to master its complex combat system. It's very tough and you'll need to learn from your mistakes, but when you nail a perfect fight sequence, it feels incredible. The story is quite simple here though, it's just all about revenge, but the gameplay elevates it to something much more than you come to expect. If you love intense, skill-based combat and the challenge of mastering every single fight, you'll love what Sifu brings to the table. Hi-Fi Rush is one of the most unique games on this list, combining rhythm-based combat with a colourful anime-inspired art style. It's very unfortunate to know that the studio did close behind this one, but it's great to see that another publisher picked it up from Xbox and is now carrying the torch for the second entry. In this game, you essentially fight enemies to the beat of the music, which gives the game all of this fun, energetic vibe, and to be honest, it's just infectious. What I really loved about my time with this game is just how it seamlessly blends that rhythm and action, and it can be incredibly challenging, but the music overall makes everything just click into place. The vibrant world and over-the-top characters really add to the fun and enjoyment, making this a standout title for anyone who loves that creativity aspect in their games. Plus, it's just pure fun to play, and this is a video game through and through. Still Wakes the Deep is a survival horror game set on an oil rig in the North Sea. The setting alone just makes this one stand out from the crowd, as you're isolated in the middle of the ocean with something terrifying lurking in the dark. What makes this game so intense though is its atmosphere. You're constantly on edge with every single creak and groan of the rig sending chills down your spine. The claustrophobic environment heightens everything from the tension as you try to survive and uncover the truth of what's really happening. If you're a fan of horror games that keep you on your toes, this is one you'll want to play with the lights off. For fans of gangster stories, Mafia Definitive Edition is an absolute must-play. This remake of the original Mafia game takes you back to the 1930s, where you'll rise through the ranks of the criminal underworld. What I really love though about my time with Mafia is its cinematic storytelling, as you really feel part of an old-school gangster gangster film. The world here is beautifully recreated, from the cars to the city's architecture, and the story is also packed with drama and tension. Whether you're into open world games or just narrative driven experiences, this game delivers a thrilling crime saga that's really hard to put down. Before we dive into the remaining games, I have an incredible announcement for you, especially for October. I have partnered with Xbox and we are providing a 5% discount over on my website for all Xbox games, pre-orders, gift cards and Game Pass subscriptions. You can get money off some upcoming games like Dragon Age: The Veilguard and the recently released Space Marine 2. You can also be saving money on your Game Pass subscription to save you that little bit of extra pennies every single month. Use code XboxNation at checkout and it really does help support the channel by giving me a small kickback. With that out the way, thank you for the support and let's dive back into the remaining announcements. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is the perfect game if you're craving some nostalgic classic platforming action. This collection actually remasters all of the first 3 games from this franchise, bringing Crash's colourful world to life with some stunning visuals. What's really great though about these games is their simplicity. You can jump, spin and run your way through tricky levels full of hazards and enemies. The game can get incredibly difficult, especially when going for the time trials or the ultimate medals, so it's definitely worth looking into if you like a challenge. It's a nostalgic trip for those of us who played the originals back in the day, but the remastered versions feel just as fun today. If you're looking for a light-hearted platformer that does offer plenty of challenge underneath that simplistic nature, then Crash Bandicoot is the way to go. There are actually 3 different Tomb Raider games that are available on Xbox Game Pass, but for me there is one that's a step above the rest. In Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Lara Croft's journey takes a darker turn as she explores the jungles of South America. This game is a mix of action, exploration and puzzle solving, and to be honest, it's just perfect. What I really enjoyed though about Shadow of the Tomb Raider compared to the other games is just how it dives deeper into Lara's character. It does this whilst also giving players some of the most breathtaking and treacherous environments we've seen in the series to date. The tombs here are more intricate than ever before, and the combat feels a step ahead whilst also being tight and satisfying. If you're into cinematic adventurers with a strong focus on exploration, then this game should be at the top of your list. For all the Star Wars fans out there, Star Wars Jedi Survivor continues that story of Cal Kestis, a young Jedi on the run from the Empire. The game actually blends the perfect lightsaber combat with force powers and exploration, delivering us one of the truest and brilliant Star Wars experiences to ever grace the Xbox consoles. What I really love about this game though is how it makes you feel like a true Jedi. You're constantly balancing combat, platforming and puzzle solving, all whilst uncovering ancient mysteries and being on the run from the Empire. The story here is rich with so much Star Wars lore, making it a must-play for fans of this franchise. Plus, if I haven't mentioned it already, and I believe I already did, but the combat is just incredibly satisfying. There's nothing like a good lightsaber duel or just a force push of an enemy off a cliff. Now, if you enjoy narrative-driven horror games, The Quarry is right up your alley. This game is actually developed by Supermassive Games and they're the team behind Until Dawn, so you know it's going to be a great interactive experience. This drama places you in control of a group of teens at a summer camp where things go horribly wrong. What's so great about The Quarry though is how much your choices matter. Every single decision you make affects the lives of who dies and who lives. It's like playing through your very own horror movie, so it's full of tension, twists, and incredibly creepy moments. If you're into games where your decisions shape the story, and you love a good jump scare here and there, then this is a game you won't want to miss. Keeping on the theme of horror, and especially with Halloween just around the corner, Resident Evil 3 is a perfect game to dive into. It's a remake of the classic survival horror game, but brings that updated visuals and gameplay to Jill Valentine's desperate escape. What really stands out to me though is how this game keeps you on edge through every single corner, especially with Nemesis, the relentless enemy that stalks you throughout this game. It's a fast-paced and action-packed survival horror experience that blends tension with explosive moments. If you love the original, you will absolutely love this remake as it sticks to that version incredibly well. If you're a fan of horror games with a mix of puzzle solving and intense combat, then Resident Evil 3 delivers that in spades. For something a bit more slower paced but no less gripping, Expeditions, a Mud Runner game, offers a unique blend of off-road driving and exploration. There's not much of a story in this game, but the fact that the physics and also the driving simulation is fantastic, it's just well worth diving into, especially as it recently got dropped into Xbox Game Pass. You're essentially tasked with delivering supplies and navigating harsh terrain in massive trucks crux, but the realism is what makes this game so engaging. I love how every single mission just feels like a puzzle, as you need to carefully plan your route and manage your vehicle's limitations. It's a game that really is about patience and puzzle solving, and if you're in the mood for something more relaxing but challenging, then this game offers a truly unique experience. It's perfect for those winter gaming sessions where you want to sit back, relax, but also have a bit of a challenge. Atlas Fallen Reign of Sand is an action RPG that places you in a vast desert world, where sand isn't just something you walk on, it's also a weapon that you can actually control. What I really love about this game is just the freedom it allows you to explore and take down massive monsters in fast, fluid combat. It's sort of a cross between the old Devil May Cry games, but also with that sort of aspect of the Witcher 3 exploration, which is incredibly great. The game's world here feels really alive and constantly shifting, with the sand adding a unique element to both exploration and combat. If you're into fantasy games with a fresh twist on world building and action, then this game will surely pull you in. Inscription actually got added on the Game Pass as of today, and it's a psychological horror deck builder that's unlike anything else on this list. At first you may be thinking this is a simple card game, and I don't blame you, but honestly, the more that you play, the deeper and darker the story becomes. What I find so captivating about Inscription, and many gamers out there will tell you exactly the same, is how it constantly surprises you. The game's mechanics evolve, and the narrative takes twists you never see coming. It's very creepy, atmospheric, and incredibly smart, and it's great especially for this horror time of year. If you're looking for a game that blends that sort of puzzle solving aspect with strategy and horror into one unforgettable experience, then this is one of the most unique games you'll play this year. Control Ultimate Edition is a mind-bending action-adventure game from Remedy Entertainment, and this takes place in a mysterious government facility. You will play as Jessie Fadden, who uncovers some strange powers as she explores the shifting labyrinth building known as the Oldest House. What I love to this day about Control is just how its narrative constantly keeps you guessing, blending that sort of psychological horror element with sci-fi elements. The telekinetic combat in this game is some of the most fun I've ever had in a game to date, as you can literally rip chunks out of a wall and hurl them at your enemies. It's atmospheric, it's weird, and it's a total blast to play in 2024. For the fans out there of Japanese mythology and tactical combat with a slice of strategy thrown in, then Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess offers a stunning world filled with mythological creatures and intense strategic battles. What really drew me into this game though is the art style. It's visually breathtaking, blending that sort of traditional Japanese aesthetic with beautiful fantasy elements. This is an absolute hidden gem on Xbox Game Pass and is well worth diving into, and it's incredibly good to see Capcom going back to their roots. The combat requires careful planning and execution, which makes every single encounter feel incredibly meaningful. If you're into games that challenge your strategic thinking whilst also immersing you in sort of its rich cultural setting, then Kunitsugami is a truly unique experience that's worth diving into. Persona 3 Reload is a modern remaster of one of the most beloved JRPGs ever made, and it combines dungeon crawling with high school life simulation. You will play as a student who battles mysterious creatures during the dark hour, whilst also having to balance their friendships and schoolwork during the day. What I really love about this game though is how it blends these two worlds together, is your social interactions during the day do also affect your combat abilities at night. It's got a very deep emotional story with characters that you'll truly care about, and the mix of gameplay styles keeps things fresh and engaging. If you're an Xbox Game Pass member, you also get access to all of the Season Pass content, so you get tons of content, and to be honest, you'll be spending hours upon hours in this game. If you're a fan of deep story-driven RPGs, then Persona 3 is a must-play. Now, it's quite easy to say, but Forza Horizon 5 is the ultimate open-world racing experience set in the breathtaking landscapes of Mexico. This game is honestly a step above the rest, and I don't think any will come close to it until Forza Horizon 6. The game here offers an enormous map to explore, filled with tons of races, challenges, and events to keep you busy. What I loved about this game upon jumping into it is just how accessible it is. You can just hop in and start racing, but there's also tons of depth for players who want to fine-tune their cars and master every single course. The sheer beauty here though is the world. Combine that with the freedom to explore your own pace, and honestly, you've got one of the most fun and laid-back games on Xbox Game Pass. Now, if you're into tactical shooters and you want a bit of challenge, then Sniper Elite 5 offers some of the best long-range combat you'll ever find. Set during World War II, you will play as an elite sniper, taking out some high-value targets across vast open-ended levels. Sniper Elite 5 lets you approach its missions in your own single way. You can either go in guns blazing, but the real fun here comes from setting up the perfect shot from a distance. The slow motion kill cam that the game series is known for is always satisfying, and the game really rewards that patience and strategy, and that's what I really love about this game. If you enjoy stealthy, more methodical gameplay, then this one's a must play. For fans of the Yakuza series, I couldn't leave out this next game. Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name offers a deeper dive into the life of Kazuma Kiryu after he's left his old life behind. What I really love about this game is its focus on narrative, as it's packed with intense emotional moments, but still retains the series' signature mix of humor and over-the-top action. There's so many Yakuza games on Xbox Game Pass, and I honestly just couldn't list them all, and to be honest, for me, Like a Dragon Gaiden really stands out amongst the rest. The combat here is incredibly fluid and satisfying, and the story will really keep you hooked from start to finish. If you're into deep, character-driven stories with a blend of drama and action, then this game delivers it in spades. I know many gamers get put off about that sort of JRPG and Japanese aspect to the game, but it's well worth diving into, and honestly, it's a hell of a time. Rounding off our list today is SteamWorld Build, a unique blend of city building and strategy that brings a fresh twist to the genre. This game is heavily underrated on the Xbox Game Pass library and is a true hidden gem, especially if you sort of like RTS experiences or games like SimCity. In this game, you're tasked with constructing a thriving steampunk town whilst digging deep into the earth for resources. What really makes SteamWorld Build so engaging though is how it balances above ground development with below ground exploration. There's always something to manage here, whether that's your town's economy or the dangers lurking in the mines. The art style is beautifully charming and the gameplay loop is just incredibly satisfying. This is one of my favourite games of the past year, so it's well worth picking up if you enjoy strategy games with a bit of a twist. So that's 30 of the best single player games you can play right now on Xbox Game Pass. You'll have to let me know in the comments below what your favourite game is from this list, or if there's any you didn't know before and want to check out. As always, like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more Xbox content every single day. Whilst here, why don't you check out our most recent video covering the huge sale that's currently going on the Xbox Store for this week.